Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Learn. Today we'll be discussing about active and passive voice and also about adjectives. Let's begin. There are two special forms for verbs called voice, active voice and passive voice. Active voice is considered to be normal and is the one we use most of the time. And this is the structure of active voice in simple sentences. Let's see the example. If you see, James likes traveling. James is the subject here. Likes is the verb and traveling is the object. It follows the same structure as mentioned above. Amy is making a new graphic design. So Amy is the subject. It is doing the action making. It's a verb. And a new graphic design is the object. And coming to passive voice, it is less common than active. And the structure of it is this. In short, object of active voice becomes subject of passive voice. It's very easy. Remember this sentence. It would be helpful for you. So if you see the example here, James liked traveling. It's an active voice and the object in the active voice is traveling. If you convert that to passive voice, the object here which is traveling becomes a subject here. Hope you understood the sentence above. Traveling is liked by James. So the object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. It happens with every sentence the same. In active voice, subject does the action. In passive voice, subject receives the action. If you see the examples here, the sudden sound frightened the horse. Active voice. If you convert the same into passive voice, the horse was frightened by the sudden sound. So the object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. The police killed the robber. So robber is the object in active voice. When you convert that to passive voice, the same robber has become subject here. The robber was killed by police. And the passive voice is composed of an auxiliary verb plus the past participle of the transitive verb. It means the basic form of verb in passive voice, the basic form of the verbs in passive structure is be forms plus V3. Hope you have remembered what are transitive verbs and what are be forms. Let me give a glimpse of it. I have already explained it in the previous video. Transitive verb is a verb with an object. And a verb without object is an intransitive verb. And coming to be forms, am, is, are, was and were. So now hope it's clear. Be forms plus B3 is the basic form of verb in passive structure. Only sentences having transitive verbs can be transformed into passive voice. Remember, this is a very important point actually. Only transitive verbs can be transformed or converted into passive voice. Intransitive verbs cannot, because there is no object. If there is no object, because as we said, the object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive. If there is no object only, how will you be converting? So, transitive verbs only can be transformed into passive, not intransitive ones. And verb should be changed to past participle. Past participles means verb third form, V3. Verb should be changed to past participle when changing from active to passive. If you see the example here, we are watching live cricket. This is the active voice. When you convert it to passive, is being watched by us. Live cricket is being watched by us. The same thing is being converted to V3 form. That's the rule. Voice is changed in the same sentence. That is, if the active voice is in present tense, then passive will also be in present tense. So the tenses will not change even though you convert from active to passive voice. If you see the example, it's the same with past and future tenses also. If the active is in present, past and future, passive will also be in those respectively. Meera is making vegetable soup. Active voice. When you convert it to passive, vegetable soup is being made by Meera. So if you observe here, the verb is just converting into V3 form, but the tense is still the same. It's still in present tense. It's the same with past and future too. They fix the wire. The verb was fixed by them. If you see, the verb just changed into V3, but the tense is the same. Lauren will anchor the show. The show will be anchored by Lauren. Hope it's clear. And the subject of active voice shall become the object of the passive voice. If you see, I becomes me, we becomes us, you becomes, obviously in the sentence you have to use by, or else it doesn't make sense. We'll know that in canonical passives why we add preposition. So if you see, I wrote a letter, so I has become by me. A letter was written by me. The prefix, and it's the same vice versa too. If it's me in active voice, it becomes I in passive voice. It happens in both the ways. If you see here, the prefix keeps accusing me. I am being accused by the prefix daily. So yeah, now let's see what are canonical passives. Passive constructions have a range of meanings and uses. The canonical use is to map a clause with a direct object to a corresponding clause where the direct object has become the subject. So leave the definitions, just see the example here. Yashika paid the bill. Here paid is a transitive verb. Why? Because it has an object, bill. So it is transitive. And Yashika is the subject, the bill is the direct object. And in the passive, it becomes the bill was paid. If you recast the verb in the passive voice, then the bill becomes the subject and Yashika disappears. If you want to add Yashika, you will have to put a preposition. The bill was paid by Yashika. If you see the sentence here, the passive sentence, though you have not mentioned Yashika, the sentence is still meaningful. The bill was paid. It's still meaningful. But if you want to mention the subject of the active voice, then you have to add a preposition in order to make sense. Or else, if you see, if you do not add the preposition, the bill was paid Yashika. Does the sentence make any sense? It do not. So you'll have to add a preposition by or any preposition in order to make sense. The same with the ball hit Bob. Bob got hit. If you want to mention by what he has been hit, you have to add a preposition by. Deepa wrote a novel. A novel was written. Even though you don't mention Deepa, the word is meaningful. But if you want to mention, you'll have to put in by. So the thing is, passive verb makes a lot of changes in the original sentence. Direct object is promoted as subject of the sentence because past participle, which is the third form of verb, loses its verb properties. Like it's no more a completely verb. So it acts more as an adjective. When it becomes an adjective, when it loses its verb properties, it cannot contain any direct object. As I said here, if you add any direct object beside this, there is no meaning. It is not making any sense. It's the reason is, as it has been converted to V3, past participle form, it acts more as an adjective than verb, so it cannot contain any direct object immediately to it, with it. So we'll have to insert a preposition by. Hope it's clear. Coming to grammatical relations and thematic contents. Grammatical relations, as I said, it has subject, direct object and indirect object. And thematic ones have agent, patient, recipient, instrument and theme. What is an agent? Agent is one who does the action. Patient, one who undergoes the impact of the action. Recipient is the beneficiary of the action. Instrument is which becomes instrumental in performing the action. Theme is which is acted upon. So if you see, in Deepa wrote a novel. Novel is a direct object. And grammatically it's a direct object. And semantically it is a theme. Deepa is a subject grammatically. And thematically it is an agent. Write is an action. So the action of writing is being performed by agent Deepa, and we have the theme acted upon is a novel. It's an example for whatever is given here. Coming to the functions of passive. So where we actually prefer passive voice than active voice? When the actor is unimportant. When actor is unknown, when you want to hide the identity of the actor, when the focus of sentence is on thing being acted on, when the focus is on the thing which is being acted on rather than who is doing that, and when the passive simply sounds better, when you need to put the punch word at the end of a sentence. So in all these cases, we prefer passive than active voice. There are some more functions. When we want to emphasize the receiver of action, America was discovered by Columbus. When we don't know who did the action, some rare artifacts were stolen from the museum. So by whom you don't know, so you have not mentioned anywhere. So you get the passive voice is being used here. When we think agent is not important, the bridge is being prepared. When the agent is known and predictable, the workers are paid weekly. When we make general statements or announcements or appeals, people are requested generously to the relief funds. When we want to avoid or suppress the responsibility of the actions. So the bullet got fired, the bullet was fired. If you do not want to say who did that, you want to hide that person's identity, you will be preferring passive voice. Let's see the activity questions. The first one, when the sentence she opens the window is converted to passive voice, the verb will change to. So opens, it is in present tense. So if you convert it into passive, the passive sentence also should be in present tense. So if you convert it, it would be the window opens. So we should convert that to V3 form. Is opened. She becomes her. By her. We'll have to add in preposition. So the verb here is opened. These books will soon. They're asking the verb. These books will be bought soon. So the third question, the plants. So they gave the sentence here. They grow plants. If you convert that, the plants grow, and the plants are grown. Why are? Because it's plural. So you cannot take singular ones, is or anything. The plants are grown. Grow becomes grown because grown is the V3 form of grow. By they becomes them. The plants are grown by them. So the verb is are grown. Answer is B. John by Sarah. Okay, the active voice is Sarah is disturbing John. Is. You have to remember, you have to see the singular, plural, and also the tense. John is being disturbed by Sarah. Is being disturbed. Is being disturbing, disturbed. Hope it's clear. The fifth one, the team has challenged John. John has been challenged by the team. Hope it's clear. Let's see adjectives. Adjectives are words that modify nouns or pronouns. You know this very well. And they provide information like size, shape, age, color, origin, or material. There are quite a few examples here. He is a big man. It is a round cup. It is an old house. It is a red dress. It is a Chinese saucer. It is an iron bridge. So, adjectives are the ones which describe nouns or pronouns. And how do you identify these adjectives? Maximum of them have such certain endings. You know, if you find such endings, then maximum of them end with these suffixes. Nouns as adjectives. So when an item is defined by its purpose, if you see here, dinner table, music class, study room, cricket player, though these sound like adjective, they are also nouns, you know, but it acts as one with noun in that situation. Table, dinner table, is acting also as a noun. What are attributive and predicative adjectives? When adjectives go before the noun, they are attributive adjectives. If adjectives go after linking verbs, they are called predicative adjectives. Just remember this. If you see, this is a wonderful proposal. Noun is the proposal here, and these are coming before the noun. So they are attributive adjectives. Person, car, book, these are nouns in this case, and the adjectives is coming before the noun. So they are attributive adjectives. If you see here, the person looks suspicious. So these are the linking verbs here, and it is coming after the adjectives are coming after the linking verbs. So they are predicative adjectives. If they come before noun, they are attributive. If they come after linking verbs, they are predicative. And also the meaning of adjectives changes with its placements. If you see here, we can use some adjectives before the noun or after the verb, but the meaning differs. This particular work is so demanding that we need to give it some extra time. In both these sentences, particular is present, but here came before a noun. So the meaning here is it refers to a specific work, not any other. Coming to the predicative one, which comes after the linking verb. My father is very particular. Here particular means not easy to accept any other thing. So the placement of the adjective is changing its meaning. Her late husband left huge wealth after him. Here late means dead. If you see the late in predicative one, some of you are always late in your class. Late means not on time. There are certain reasons for this delay in this project. I was certain that you would succeed in your efforts. Here certain means something but not a specific reason. Here certain means sure, being sure. I was sure that you would succeed in your efforts. Adjective before nouns that modify other nouns. A noun is sometimes used before another noun to give more information about it. So they are called as noun modifiers. And these adjectives come before noun modifiers. Many of them mistake these noun modifiers to be adjectives, but no, adjectives come before these noun modifiers. If you see, he has an expensive music system. Many think music is the adjective, but no. Music is a noun which describes or which gives more information about system. Expensive is the adjective. If you see, it is coming before the noun modifier. That is a high performance machine. It is coming before the noun modifier. So adjectives always come before noun modifiers. Ordering of adjectives in a phrase. Before a noun. If it comes immediately before a noun, it's likely an adjective. Red dress. Red is an adjective describing the noun dress. Between an article and a noun. So they are saying, how can you identify adjective? Like if it's before a noun, it's an adjective. If it comes between an article and a noun, it's an adjective. Like the dirty room. Article, noun. Dirty is the adjective here. Between a possessive and a noun. His big office. Big is the adjective here. Ram's white shoes. White is the adjective here. Between a demonstrative and a noun. If it comes between them, then it is an adjective. In that aggressive movement, aggressive is the adjective which is describing the movement, and that is a demonstrative. If it comes between a mount and a noun, if it comes between an amount and a noun, it's an adjective again. A few ordinary things. Ordinary is the adjective. And adjectives can also act as complements. Not every complement is adjective, but few of them can be adjective. She is intelligent. He is sharp, witty, and responsive. So these are complements and these are also adjectives. Order of adjectives in noun phrases with articles and degree modifiers. So if you see here, adjectives are also used along with degree adverbs. And the examples are given here. They are also used with degree adverbs. And in unique cases, they are also used with intensifiers. If you see like quite, rather, quite an expensive item, a rather painful decision. These are not common, but they are useful. They are used in some cases. So let's see activity questions. Complete the following sentences with appropriate word. Where is my favorite sister? Your snacks are missing. Your tasty snacks are missing. Wonderful days are almost here. And for the fourth and fifth questions, they're asking which of the sentences are grammatically sounding correct. It was a rather a painful choice. It was a rather pain choice. It was a rather painful choice. It was a painful rather choice. It was a rather painful choice. We have seen it before. This is quite a challenging task. This is quite a challengeful task. This is quite challenging task. Quite tasks are challenging. No, that is quite a challenging task is the grammatically correct one. So yeah, hope these topics are clear to you. Let me know if you have any doubts. Let's meet in the other video. Thank you everyone.